Hello peeps. So firstly, I'd like to say anybody who's new to the channel, I'd appreciate it if you could subscribe. I've just hit 250 subscribers, which is a lot more than I thought I'd get, but obviously I'd like to get up to 1,000. That's the one that I'd aim for. Secondly, congratulations to Ollie who won the hard drive. Anybody else who entered and didn't win, I will be doing plenty more of them within the new year, so stick around and keep an eye out for the videos. So basically what I want to do is, with these videos, anybody who's sort of on a lower budget like me, who enjoys retro gaming but can't afford hundreds of pounds to go out and buy, you know, something that they might not play as much as they should, or whatever. Basically, you know, it's the videos are going to be there to help people who maybe only want to play them up to certain systems, or they might have an old computer lying about upstairs and they might see one on eBay or whatever. If I go in and go through a load of old systems with graphics cards in, without graphics cards in, and show you what sort of performance you're going to get out of them, it could save people money, or it could give you an idea what to buy, basically. So this is a Dell Optiplex 3020. It's an i3-4160, 3.6 gigahertz, and it's only got 4 gig of RAM in it. You know, I've got plenty of RAM. I couldn't put it up to 16, but I wanted to leave it as it was. It's 1600 megahertz RAM. This is a standalone PC. It ain't got a graphics card in it, but I've got an Asus R5-230 graphics card, 1 gigabyte, a R5-430 2 gigabyte Radeon, an Nvidia GT730 2 gigabyte, and then I've got an Nvidia T400 and a T600. I'm going to start putting them in and you know, doing the same games just to see what sort of performance rises we get from the graphics cards. So they're going to be future videos, but this first one is just going to be as it is, bare bones, in the Dell 3020. So if you just bear with me 1 second. Now if we look at that, that's exactly what computer I'm using here now. It's the i3 model, £40. So you're going to be looking at that sort of price. I should think in States you're going to be looking probably, but you're going to be able to pick one of these up for 30-40 quid without a graphics card in, as it is. So we can have a look at some lower end emulation and see what sort of performance we get out of without having a graphics card in. So being as I'm on Sega Saturn, I'll start on it. And we'll go to, I'm hoping that I've done save states on all these games. That was my idea, so we could get through it a little bit quicker. Anybody who's never seen my videos before, I've said before, I work for a living. I haven't got time to edit games. Sorry, I haven't got time to edit videos. I work for a living, so this is going to be as they are. If I need to go to the toilet or something, I'll be doing it. It's just as it is. If everybody subscribes to my channel and gets me 1 million subscribers, then I'll pay somebody to edit my videos and I'll record them all. And obviously that's a long way away. But anyway, 60 frames per second. This is set on native resolution, so I'm just going to scroll about. I'm not going to do much gameplay, you know, go in depth into the game. I just want to show you how it runs. So we'll come out of that. Go into advanced game options. Rendering resolution. We're on that. I'm pretty sure, even without a graphics card in, I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to play some games in 720p, maybe 1080p. So I'll just go to the top range. 1080p, we'll try it. And if you try like a load of Sega Saturn games, doing the same sort of thing, the same way as I'm doing it here. So you've got a little bit of slowdown on that at 1080p, but it's not much. And if you didn't have that counter on in the corner, I don't think you'd even notice it. So yeah, that's running good. Saying there's no graphics card in. Sega Saturn emulation has got a million times better than what it used to be. And there's some really good games on here. So if we say for the Nights into Dreams, if we're going to go with it and want it full, I'm assuming 720p would be pretty much a niche on it. So if you try a load of the better games and get them all running within a certain, you know, like a certain resolution, then you can find that that's your niche. If there's certain games that you really like, they might run a little bit better on, you might be able to put them in 1920 by 1080. Don't forget this ain't got a graphics card in. I know full well even with a lower graphics card in, this is plugged into my 4K telly, that these, even with a lower graphics card in, they run the Saturn at 4K. So we're going to say for Nights into Dreams, we're going to be pretty much running at full speed, and it's at 720p. That'll do for that. Next, Panzer Dragoon. Again, these are all set at the lowest settings at the start. Now let's see, that's running fine. You're getting the dips down to 59, but you're going to get them anyway. So let's come out. Let's go with our little, what we just had on the other one. We'll change this to 720. Have a look. Anybody who didn't know, if you press your Xbox button, I'm on the Xbox controller obviously, Xbox button in blue, it will save state. Xbox button in yellow, Y button, will load it so you can quickly jump into the game. Again, that's playing perfectly really. 720p, that sound, you'll be able to play that all day long. Good experience, good. That's fine. You can, let's have a look at 1920 by 1080. Yeah, again, it starts looking a bit weird when you go to the really high resolutions on the sound, because like your water and stuff is obviously looks so crap. Basically, it's I think sometimes you're probably better off sticking with 720p anyway. I don't want the videos to be massive, so I am going to try and rush through, so I'm not going to show massive loads of gameplay. But I am wanting just to sort of create a little database of how they run on certain games, on certain processes, without graphics cards in, with graphics cards in, and whatever else. So let's go to Sega Rally. I'll just save states up. You get some like the blue graphical issues on this, so I mean the game runs fine, but it's the what's it break? What's not that? Oh, it's break. Right. Okay. So we'll come out to that. Advanced game options. Now, all my Saturn games are preset to run on the Yab Sanshiro core. I hope I said that right. Because you can go in and change all your resolution and stuff within this little menu here. So I'm pretty sure with this, there's some games that won't work on that. There's some games that will. There's even some I've got. If you've got an older computer than this, there's some early processors that Yab Insurance just won't work on. So if you've got an old computer and you put Sega Saturn on and you get a black screen on every game, change the thing from Yab Insurance, because they just don't work on earlier certain cores. So let's go with 720. Now I'm pretty sure if I change it to one of the other cores, it doesn't get rid of that blue. The graphical issues like what you've got here, but it didn't look as bad. I've had a quick look, I haven't really had a proper look, but as you can see that's quite bad. But frame rate wise, I think pretty much even without a graphics card and everything's going to run fine on one of these old Dell Optiplex 3020s, easily at 720p. That's running absolutely fine. So let's have a look at one of the other cores. Advanced game options, emulator, try Beetle Saturn. Now the only issue is with these, I believe, let's just have a look. I don't believe you can change the random resolution here. But, and I'm pretty sure you can't even change it in the RetroArch menu. Oh, of course, and now my save state ain't going to work because it's on a different core, so you have to bear with me. I'll stick one on, so then I'll have one for each core.
Sega Rally Championship.
See, the graphics are set so low on this. Xbox button in green will take you into this menu here and you can go in and have a look. But I'm pretty sure you can't change the resolution on this core. Which you can't. Unless I'm missing it. So I'll stick a save state there.
3, 2, 1, go!
As you can see, they have blue pop-up coming up in the graphics, but it's nowhere near as bad. You then choose whether you want the absolute shite graphics like what it is, or you want the graphics better but it's going to have the blue graphical issues, whatever you want to call them. So we could try the Kronos. I don't believe you can change the resolution on this, however. No. I haven't got a save state on that. Options, video format, resolution. Now you can change the resolution on this one, look. So let's try it at 720p. I don't know, sometimes you need to restart the game for that to kick in, but I'll go and put a save state on it while I'm here. If you get games that don't work as well on certain cores, sometimes you'll try a game and it won't work. Don't just think it's not going to work. Try all the different cores on it. I'm pretty sure I went through every single game on the Sega Saturn one day and got everyone working within a certain... If one core didn't work, I used another one. Yeah, that's not 720p. So I'll stick a save state there. Come out. Oh, I know what I did. Let's have a look at something. Well, that's interesting. That's not very good. So, options. options. 720p. If you just go with 480p, and what you can do, which I didn't do before, manage core options, save game options, so it saves it just for this game. Right. But this is what it's all about. I mean, I've said it before in my videos. I can't set a drive up. If somebody's having a drive off me, I can't set it up exactly for their computer because every computer's different. That's still absolutely running like a bag of pants, so it's not worth being on that core. So yeah, it'd be your choice whether you want the blue graphical issues or the which is on the Yabin Sanshiro core or the other one. Personal preference. So let's go to Tomb Raider. Pretty sure I've done a save state in here. This is one of the hardest games in the world to control. Alright, yeah, okay. That's running fine. So again, this is back on the other core, the Sanshiro one, so let's go to 720p. So I'm pretty sure anybody with an old Optiplex, or it doesn't have to be an Optiplex, anybody who's got one of these old I3-4160s, that's going to give you what performance you're going to get out of it for a Sega Saturn. You pretty much know that most stuff, there might be the odd more demanding game, but most stuff is going to be run fine on 720p, which is going to be obviously a lot better than the original graphics. Make a quite enjoyable experience if that's the sort of game you like. Let's just thinking about it. If I go to right, I have to excuse me mumbling on. I'm old and senile, so I'm pretty sure this is a little bit more demanding than the standard Panzer Dragoon, but I haven't got a save state for this. Well, I don't believe I have. No, I haven't. I'll stick one on now. Hopefully I ain't got a load of cutscenes and stuff that you can't click from. It might not be this. To be fair, I think, well, let's take a save game. I believe I'm probably thinking of the one on the Xbox where I knew it was a little bit more demanding. Anyway, let's try it. Minimum resolution 720p. It's running really well to say it's got no graphics going. I'm surprised. Load a save state, but again, yeah, it's running fine. 60 frames a second. So anybody who's got a similar sort of processor, even a bit of a lesser one, you know, you might have to knock it down one, but Sega Saturn's running totally fine on it. So next, while we're here, we're going to Dreamcast. Now I class this as lower end emulation because all these emulators, what I'm doing, like the Dreamcast one, I'm going to put PSP on it as well. It's not so much lower end emulation. Obviously the PSP's a little bit more modern than the, I believe it would come out after the PlayStation 2. So it's just the fact that the emulators are that good, you can get away with running on a lot lower system, a lot lesser system like this one. So we'll have a look at some Dreamcast. Again, I believe this will, I don't know, but it might run it at 720p, but
回るので会場をチェックしてぜひ歌いに来てください。優勝者にはなんとアメリカ旅行が待ってますよ。では次は先週よりちょっと下がっちゃいましたが、まだ7位に現在のレベレーションのソールドアウトをどうぞ。
you don't get no slowdown on it, but on the frames per second, but it's like twitchy and jerky. I don't know what's going to pick it up on the capture card. But it's really twitchy to play on the graphics, not the control. It's when you're turning, I don't know if it's picking that up. I'm going to keep moving left and right so you can see it. So it's not too great, but I've noticed even when I put this on an higher end system, it tends to do it on everything. So it must be something to do with the emulation or whatever else. So we'll go into rendering resolution. No, that's on 1420 by 1080. That's probably well, I don't know. Let's go with the original. And on this emulator, I'm using the Liberto Flycast. Redream's good, but you can't change the rendering resolution. You can, but you have to pay for a subscription to it. So this tends to, with what I've seen, what I played on it. I used to use Redream and just have it on the lower resolution, but this seems to run absolutely fine now.
回るので会場をチェックしてぜひ歌いに来てください。優勝者にはなんとアメリカ旅行が待ってますよ。では次は先週よりちょっと下がっちゃいましたが、まだ7位に現在のレベレーションのソールドアウトをどうぞ。
It's not far off like a little tiny bit of screen time. It's unusual. So I know it doesn't do it with much. But you've seen at that resolution it was on, it wasn't dropping below 30 frames per second. So this is whether it's a PAL game or whatever, it's not going to run at 60 frames per second. It's only made to run at 30 frames per second. Something like that. But yeah, let's just go straight up to 1080p then, or as close to whatever it is. See what we get. Which is that one? I believe we was on that, wasn't we? Again, for being able to pick one of these up for 30, 40 quid or 30, 40 dollars. It's going to be even that 1920 to 1080 look, it's your frames per second ain't dipping at all. You're still getting that twitching. I'm hoping it picks up on the camera like that. The graphics look really good now, put them to that. You can see it really bad there with them trees as I went around the corner. But there's no dip in the frames per second whatsoever. It's really good. 1920 to 1080 with no graphics card on the Dreamcast. So we'll go back to A. Anybody who don't know that is select or your back button. We'll bring this menu up and you can jump to whatever. So we'll just make sure advanced game options. We're set to auto, which should be the lowest resolution, yes. Again, obviously this is going to struggle when it gets up to like to GameCube and PlayStation 2 and stuff like that. But I put one of the lower graphics cards in, and I've had a quick look to see if it runs. It runs quite a fair bit of PlayStation 2. It ain't going to run your higher end games like God of War 2 and stuff like that, but it seemed to run a lot of games that I clicked on before. Messing about with that, I've got to save state the answer. Again, it's another 30 frames per second game, really twisted control. That's not going to dip. So I'm going to do straight again. I'm going to go straight up to 1920 by 1080, which I'm assuming is not going to work on every game on the Dreamcast. Well, it's 1920 by 1440, it's basically 1920 by 1080. It's as close as you're going to get to it, and it'll run fine on all your 1920 by 1080 TVs. seems to be running fine. I'm really surprised with that because I'm going to go to that. I was expecting it to be, you have to knock it down a couple. Obviously there'll be more testing when there's like, if you're playing games where there's a lot of explosions and stuff going on. Yeah, we're running absolutely fine. I think a bit slow. It's just the game that's so slow because it's only 30 frames per second and everything. Yeah, absolutely fine. What was next? Of course. We'll go for a bit of Crazy Taxi. So again, I'm not gonna. Well, I am because I've clicked it. I was gonna say I was gonna turn it straight up. I'm assuming this will probably struggle with 1080p. Not look too bad. So that's the lowest resolution. This is as it was originally on the Dreamcast. Which always does me. I play games and look at them like this and I think they look absolutely shit at the moment. You realise when you put the high resolution on and you still think, well, that's how it used to look, sure, but I've heard ETA Brown say exactly the same. If you actually got a Dreamcast and put it aside, you'll see the difference. You don't realise how bad some of these old systems used to look. You remember them looking brilliant, but I guarantee if you get an original one and put it on, you change your mind a little bit. So, yeah, and anyway, next game options. I'm assuming this is going to struggle at the full 1920 by 1440. Yeah, straight away looks like happening at 45 seconds, which is about to happen. Doesn't look like it's started, so I'm surprised that it even runs as good as it does. So it's another good way of what I'm showing you is a really good way to set your computer up for each game. Obviously you can see that that's really shocking, so then you'd come back out and drop it down one or two on your resolution settings. Which on the Dreamcast obviously got like so many different ones, which is really good because you can just tweak it that little bit. If I take it down 2 to that there, we'll have a look at that. Whereas some others only got 3 or 4 settings, this has got a lot, so you can just tweak it that little bit, which is really good. You can get it sort of as good as it's going to get.
Come on, you're in a hurry, right? What? You can nearly killed me. Get me to the cable car.
That way.
Hey, don't freak out on me.
There you go, see it. That seems to be running absolutely fine again now. Not a good thing. I keep looking down at the frames per second, I'm not really happy. I'm going to use that as an issue for everything, but yeah, it's running fine. So, whatever that was set on. Right, game options. Rendering resolution. It's like double the original. This is great because you can go like 1.5 and stuff, so 1280 by 960. It was on that. I mean, you could probably tap it up to that 1440 by 1080. I'll have a quick look. I don't want the video to go on forever. Everybody will be wanting to kill me. Listening to my voice.
Come on, you're in a hurry, right?
But yeah, this is running fine. No graphics card running Dreamcast at 60 frames per second at the double resolution. You know. You can have all this for 30-40 quid, all you got to do is get your own games. Obviously I'm not going to tell you where to get them. You can buy your drives, you can email me about my drives, or you can buy one from anywhere basically and just stick them in. Buy a USB or if you've got an old PC lying about that you don't use, like one of these Optiplexes. buy an internal drive, which you get even cheaper than the externals. For the retro gamers, these little Optiplexes and similar ones, the old little packet ones, they're brilliant. Obviously your battery parts are really good, really small and for what they are. But these are, you know, you can go again with them. They're a lot better than a Raspberry Pi. And you're going to be paying a similar sort of money. I'm sure Raspberry Pis are probably around about 40 quid. I'm going to go straight out of this. Let's have a look. Let's game options. Render and resolution. Let's try it straight away. I wanted to show a little bit of something different here with this game. It's going to be hard for me to. I'm trying to look at the frames per second and tune it.
You'll never get this disc.
You're getting a little bit of slowdown on this. But again, it's under setting close to 1920 with 1080, so let's that again. Rendering resolution. I reckon if we go there, like we did on Crazy Taxi, you're probably not getting any slowdown whatsoever. It's a shame all the emulators didn't have all them sort of like 1.5 times and 2 times and 2.25 times, so you could really fine tweak.
You'll never get this
Also,
disc.
obviously I'm not messing about with the other things on it, like you can go and change anti-aliasing and all that sort of stuff. But as it is, I'm just going to leave it sort of standard, for the standard settings, just to show. Well, that seems to be running fine. Obviously I can't shoot the copy, but it's a bit harder on the controller as well. I'd rather be doing it on a mouse or laptop. Yeah, it's running fine. So confidence on missing, so we will go to one of the best games that was released on Dreamcast. I used to love my Dreamcast, it was a cracking little console. That Blue Stinger and Resident Evil. I used to have loads of games on the Dreamcast. Thing with this, it's got a lot of cutscenes in. It's only a 30 frames per second game. You've got a lot of cutscenes in, so I don't want to go and which is run hard. So I'm just going to run about here and see if we get any sort of dips in here. So obviously, if you just go into the little dojo or whatever they want to call it, you're going to just go into a cutscene, which is pointless. So let's have a look. I'm not going to go auto with this, I'm going to try the one that we were just on, the 2.25 times. Excuse me. Anybody interested as well with my 2 terabyte drive? I put a video on the other day. I'm going to redo the video because it was ridiculously loud sound of it. There's no slowdown on that. So yeah, I'm going to redo that and put the volume right on it. But also, I picked up that there was a fair few duplicate games while I was making that video, so that's what I've done since I made that video. I've gone in every single system now and made sure there's not one duplicate game in any system. The only one that you might get duplicate games in is if it was released under a different name in America. So it would be further down the list, you know, and I don't know what it's called. Sometimes some games was called different in America to what there was in the UK, which I thought was absolutely pointless. You know, same with like bloody Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Over here we have to call it Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles for some reason. Ridiculous. This Shenmue though, was awesome. But yeah, I don't know. Excuse me, my voice is going. Bear with me. Oh, sorry about that big gulp. Obviously, I don't know when you get further into the game, you might start getting a bit of slowdown on certain things, but that's set on New OS 1920 by 1080, and there's no slowdown there. But obviously, once you've got a bit more going on screen, you probably get a little bit of slowdown. So, last game. Dreamcast. I had to win this one off. I was gonna show you on the Saturn it was. I'm looking at the wrong list. I'm going to Virtua Fighter 2. If you're like me, I absolutely hate fighting games. I always did. But I know. Save state didn't work there. I know a lot of people used to really like them, but they weren't my cup of tea. Let's see that save state again. Well, never ever known that before. In fact, I was going to put the resolution up straight away. I know the game works because I played it earlier on and put the same state on it, but I don't know why the save state's making it crash. So, ready, go! Yeah, hopefully these sort of videos, I mean, I know I'm going to sound boring on it and go on and they're going to drag on because I don't edit them, but, you know, when if I'm looking for emulation and I want to run it on a certain system, or I'm looking at buying a graphics card, what I do is I go into YouTube and I search what the processor is and what graphics card it is, and it comes up. So that's what I'm aiming to do with these videos. Somebody might have this exact computer, and then when I put a graphics card in, and everything's just going to run that a little bit better, you know. I mean, obviously Sega Saturn's not really worth showing too much with the graphics. Oh, it is set on 1080p, that's right. But that was running fine, 1080p. I don't know where else went in earlier. But anyway. Yeah, so that's the whole point of them anyway. Hopefully it can save people money. This is my 4TB build, by the way, that's in here. Yeah. Right, it's Nintendo 64. So 1080. I've got the counter up in top left hand corner on these. Same here. It's running fine. Now let's have a look. Let's game options. 4:3 rendering resolution. Let's try. Let's try 4 times. So I ain't got a graphics card. And with these on the N64, I'm using the Mupen 64 Plus Next Core. You've got these as well. I don't believe these bottom two will run zip files. These two run zip files. And obviously, if you want to use them, you'd unzip them. I know when you go to click them, if you go to load a game, it'll say that it's not supported by that core. So I'm assuming, I don't know that 100%, but I'm assuming it's because it's in zip format.
Go!
So yeah, it's running absolutely fine. Well, let's try it on 1920 by 1080 or whatever it is that's closest to. 4x3. I'll be surprised if this, again, without a graphics card in, runs all these at full speed. There you go, get slow down there. This is much to be expected, to be fair. So I think pretty much what we was on would be about as far as you're going to get on that game. 4x3. We try it one less.
Go!
And slow down again. So yeah, I think we just clicked the one that was going to be most compatible there, to be fair. Let's game options. 4 times. Obviously the one that's above that 720, that's meant to be 720p, so this is just meant to be a touch better than 720p. But it seems to be running absolutely fine. That's what I had it set on before. That's running fine. I wonder what games to put on next. One that nobody's ever played. Right, let's have a look. That's already set onto 720p. I thought it was a little bit better than standard. But again, that seems to be running fine. And for GoldenEye running on a PC without graphics card on at that resolution is I'm surprised it runs as good. There you go, look. Slow down and then we've gone up one. So the one again it was on. I didn't even realise it was set on that. 3 times, 720. A bit twitchy. Control, like literally touching it and it's jumping like hell then. Oops. Oh my god. I'm making a right fool of this on here, aren't I? Literally, if you... that's when you need to be editing your videos, isn't it? Literally, when you push up, it really jumps or something. Right. What's this? Come out. I'm just going to drop it down one, because I know it's shown it's not dropping really, but it seems really twitchy, that. To do with recording it, I don't know. It's like, it seems to be that the up is, unless it, I don't know, it seems like the up's a lot more responsive than pushing down on it. I don't know whether anybody's ever played this game, but it was quite popular back in the day. I'm being sarcastic then, by the way. Great game. I lost many of ours to that anyway, you get carried away, aren't we? Yeah, it's a bit weird that. So, we'll go to Dilly Cambries. Obviously at that resolution. Let's have a look. Let's see what we can push it to. We'll be free. Let's try 1280 by 960. That was 57, but you'd never tell without the counter in top corner, you'd never tell. It's running absolutely fine now, fully playable, full speed. Tiny drop there, I didn't hold it. I think you could live with that. You'd probably eliminate that if you just dropped it down one more. Like I say, you've got all these different things in these as well, like if you come down, the anti-aliasing and stuff like that, obviously I'm not going to mess about with them, but if you've got your own system and you want to just push it a little bit more, you put it on 1920 by 1080 or whatever and it's running full speed, you can come and try adding a couple of these and just push it to its limit. Once you start getting any slowdown whatsoever, you know, you just push it that little bit too far. So. But you can make the games look obviously a lot better than what they did back in the day. Absolutely fine. I don't know if I'm going to get crunched with copyright playing games like that because of the sound on it. We'll soon find out, won't we? I'm not liking that what's happening underneath that screen, that flashing. I'm pretty sure it's done that before when I loaded a save state up and then if I just started the game as it was. Oops. It wasn't there. But... oh, that was on 720 as it was. Yeah. So let's just try it at full. That. Yeah, no chance. That's not quite playable at that speed. I'm assuming this probably might be too much for it as well. So it might have been set on the right one. Yeah. that one? That's the one that was on originally, isn't it? 720. I believe that's as far as you're going to get without a graphics card. And as you've seen, I've just loaded that save state up again, exactly the same, and it's not got that flashing underneath the screen. I must have probably pressed it too quick or something. Full speed. Even more, I'm trying to watch the both of them. Even with all the different chips on, it's not doesn't seem to be dropping at all. The vote drops down 59. Perfectly playable. Good stuff. Right. So, yeah. Star Fox. Another 30 frames per second game. Brilliant game back in day, this Star Fox. Let's have a look. Range and resolution, we'll try it on 720. So again, that would probably be the setting that I'd aim for if I was gonna, if I was running this as my main computer and I wanted to set my Nintendo 64, I would probably go and set the main resolution for all the games at 720. They seem to all be running absolutely fine. They look pretty crisp, run perfectly. Another game on Nintendo 64, that's where probably one of the best games on it, to be fair. Well, one of them. For Mario and stuff. But this was absolutely brilliant back in the day when this came out, and sort of pretty much flagship game on 64. It was unbelievable. Alright. Let's try that one on 720p. I know for ages when they first started, well, not when they first, even after a long while, that Rogue Squadron just wouldn't work on any emulator. It didn't work for a long time. They didn't crack it for a long while. And when they did, it weren't running great when I first started playing it on emulator. Yeah, and again, 720. I think if you went any higher with that, you're going to start getting slowed down on it. That's perfectly playable. So anybody who's got an old Dell Optiplex laying about, or an old PC, oh my god, can I hit one of them? Jesus Christ. Oh, look at me now, looking like a ninja. Anyway. If you've got an old i3 line about 4160, you know how far you're going to be able to push them. The last one, what I'm going to look at is PSP. I've got a list of games here. We'll go to the start. It's all professional. I've written a list of games down and everything for this video. Well, me too. This is a really good game on PSP. PSP are a great little console. It's brilliant for emulation. I haven't done a save state, but it's good. And the PPSSPP emulator is really good. It's one of the better emulators out there. But even, I mean, these are obviously set low on when if you've got a system with a graphics card and you've got a 4K monitor or whatever, and you put these games on full screen, they look really good.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Right. So I did have a save state there, I know I did.
Oh, and guys, try not to piss off the locals.
Oh, he stopped swearing, you. Anyway, 60 frames per second. So that's on 2 times the rendering resolution. We can try it at 720p. I thought that was set to the standard resolution, but clearly not. There you go, it's slowing down straight away.
Oh, and guys, try not to piss off the locals.
So again with that, 2 times an army of 2 is going to be as far as probably going to push this. You're not going to be able to mess about with hotels any of the... You might be able to put a bit of anti-aliasing on, but it don't look too bad, to be fair.
Oh, and guys, try not to piss off the locals.
I told her to stop swearing. Yeah. Fine. Of course, it's got to be in it. I know you get frame dips on this game anyway, on God of War. So this is going to be set on the lowest. You know, every now and then, like now it's running at, you can see 60 frames per second. But every now and then it'll, even with, like with all them enemies on, if it were going to be slowing down, it would be slowing down now. But you just get actual frame drops every now and then, it would like drop down to like 40 odd frames per second. But it's like quick, so you know it's not, we know we can go higher with it. So, again, I'm pretty sure if Army of 2 only run on 2 times, I'm pretty sure this will be the limit on God of War, because it's really demanding to do that. It hasn't changed it. Look, I knew it hadn't, just by looking at it. Again, like I say, if it was going to be slowing down at all, it would be slowing down now when you've got the 5 or 6 enemies up. I'll just play it through a little bit and we'll probably see when it goes to a cutscene or whatever, it'll have a bit of a frame drop.
I must return fire!
Well, these enemies come up here now. Just run about. See, it's not dropping it all there with all the enemies on, so that's totally fine. No graphics card, it's running really good, surprising. It's not a powerful processor at all, really helpful. I bet you can pick these processors up for probably 20 quid or something, $20. That's totally playable. I was never a massive fan of these, to be fair. I don't like all the button bashing, but I can see why people would like them with the graphics and stuff. Right. Gran Turismo. Oh, for God's sake, I haven't done a save state on this either. In fact, yes I have, I know I've done a bloody save state. Get a bit of a weird flash, like a twitching on this with the graphics in the background. It looks like it's shaking. Now you can get rid of it. You put it. I can't remember what setting you use now. You mess about to get it to stop on like a 30 frames a second, and it eliminates it. But I don't know if it's because the graphics look so crap that you can't even tell it's doing it. So I should have just done it from inside. Messing about coming out like that. I apologise. So, create a game config, game settings. Let's try that on too. You can see it there, like the stands look like they're shaking a little bit. Now I messed about with all the settings and I got rid of it and made it look really clear, really crisp before the frames per second dropped. And they just like it got to a permanent 30 frames per second. I can't remember what setting it was now. It was probably to do with the frame skipping and stuff. The frame don't look bad. It looks a lot worse on some that I've done it on before. About 60 frames per second, and that resolution is fine. Really playable. So let's, I believe it might be frame skipping. Try it on 2. No, let's go straight down to 20 frames per second, and that looks a bit terrible. Jaking like you can see when it's paused there, the whole screen shaking look weird. See there when you press start, you can see all the background shaking. I believe when I did it, I put it on the Liberto PSSPP core, and I got it working perfect on that. Something I'll probably have to do for a future video. I don't have time to mess about with it now. But anyway, that's running fine for that resolution, whatever we had it on. I can't remember what it was. Oh, it's 2 times, wasn't it? It might even go up to 720p. Well, we try. I believe if I change it here, have a look at it. I think if you create a game config, you have to change the settings within the emulator, not there. So, one way to find out. Game settings. It's on 2 times, so it hasn't changed it, you see. 3 times is 720p. Oops. It's a real shame about the shakiness. It dropped a little bit down to like 58 frames per second. As long as that's running fine at 720p. Let's have a look. We're an hour and 10 minutes, so I was going to have a look at try some of the higher end stuff, but I'm just going to keep it to the PSP being the last one. When I put graphics cards in and stuff, I'm always going to go onto the likes of PS2, Xbox, GameCube, Wii, 3DS and that sort of thing, but without a graphics card in, I'm pretty sure it's not even worth trying at this. Or I might make another video. I'll have a look to see what we're like.
House and rendezvous with Rico.
See what they're like, the high-end ones. If you get any playability out of any systems whatsoever, I'll learn. I would do a video, but I'm pretty sure without graphics card, you're going to struggle. And even with graphics cards in certain PlayStation 2 games, then you're going to struggle as well. Done that again. I'm just going to do it from inside the emulator. So,
House and rendezvous
with save states.
with Rico.
Settings. Try it on 2. The difference from the difference from times 1 and times 2 is really big. Obviously that's going to be unplayable. Literally going up that one scale on the resolution, it literally halves the speed of it. But I wouldn't say, alright, now go and set all your settings for PSP on this with the lowest resolution here, because this has been the only game out of them that's had any slowdown on 2 times. So we'll look at that doesn't look like it's standard resolution there. It looks like it's set on 2 already. Yeah, it is. So let me try it on 3. For those who want to go a little bit further, you come down here, you see all these different things. So that's on 8 times anti-scope, the filtering, anisotropic. I always thought it was antisotropic or something. But anyway, turn that off. That might, like what I've just been playing on, that kill zone, it might, if that was set, if you go and turn that off, it might just go up that next scale up resolution. I didn't realise. It might just be set on this. Well, that's running perfect on that. Looks really well. Full screen as well. I'm playing this on a 60-inch TV. It looks totally fine. You play that all day long. A lot of the older games look really bad when they're on full screen. Obviously the resolution wasn't high enough. So let me just go back into that one sec. No, I'll tell you what we wanted to try. Go back to Kill Zone and have a look to see if that is set on that. It might not be. It might just be a fairly demanding game. I just picked these out. I don't know the most demanding games. I know obviously God of War is one of them, but it's looking like this Kill Zone could be one as well too. Right, is that set on 1 times? Yeah, it's set on 8 times there. So if we turn that off and try it on 2 times PS, not that, 2 times PSP, and then load the state. No, it's the same. See, it's like you're saying there, with some games, it's not going to be, it's not going to do it as good as it can for that. But if you go onto the frame skipping, excuse me, and put it on 1 or 2, which will make the game a little bit choppier. But as you can see that, it's saying it's only running at 20 frames a second. It's not. That's some sort of something going on with it. But as you can see, makes it look a bit choppy. But personally, I would probably play that over having it on one times resolution because it looks a lot better you're just getting a little bit of choppy play. But again, this was basically just to show off what you can do with a 40 quid computer. If you go and get a Batocera build, or yeah, I'd go with Batocera on this, you know, buy a drive from somewhere. This is just showing you how far you can push it. And with these systems alone, like 64, your Sega Saturn, Dreamcast, PSP, you know, it's
You're inside a National Guard, Aya, but your body is still inside the CTI building.
That looks really good.
Get you started. Blank.
Yeah, you got a really good start there. If you can't afford to go and spend hundreds of pounds on a computer. 8 times anti-socket. Right. That is set on the low one, but it looks really good, that does.
Don't forget that you're in a war zone.
I didn't seem to change at all. Yeah, this is a real good game. This is. If you've never played it out there and you've got a collection, it's one I really recommend having a go on. And that there is looking really good. It's running at
Involved in sacrifice
30 frames a second. Another quick tip for people: if you're playing these games, like I will show you one actually now, which is Medal of Honor. Yeah. So, I believe I've messed this one up, but if you go into your game settings, create a game config, come into controls, control mapping, and add. If you click add and press your right analog stick up, because basically I was on this. Basically, on games like Call of Duty on the PSP, it's this one here. Sorry, with you, your right thumbstick, you put it on your circle cross. So let's just delete them, and then I'll show you what I mean, instead of just waffling on like I am. But basically, on the PSP, because of how the controls was with these games, you didn't have a right analog stick, so they made your circle button, your cross, your square, and your triangle basically your right analog stick. So if you load a game up like this, you will need to press them buttons to look about, and it's a real pain in the arse, and it's really hard to control. So you can add, and obviously as the circle on the gamepad will be your right button, your right hand button, push right on your right thumbstick. For the cross, obviously that's your bottom button, or your A button on the thing, so you push down as it is. Square's the left hand button out of the four, so push left with your right thumbstick, and triangle's obviously the top one, so you push up. And now we load the state. That should be that's on your right thumbstick instead of like now. That's pressing Y button, A button, blue button, red button, X and B, which is really awkward to get used to. So it makes it a lot more playable. There's a lot of games that do it as well. There's a lot of these games that are like your first person shooters that they did exactly the same with the same control scheme. So a little tip if anybody wants to know. I'm gonna blow up. How far's that grenade reaching me from there? But yeah, that's it. And I know for some reason I managed to mess this config up while I did it, so you have to come in here and press exit. Your hotkey won't work. But obviously the likes of PS2 aren't going to run on this without graphics card, and not a chance. I don't know whether I'm just trying to look at some that I won't think's too demanding.
Yes, sir.
Obviously Oh, then again, the 3D. I mean, if something like that's not going to run on it, nothing will run on it. So we'll have a quick look. Just the last one, and then I'm going to stop the video. But I'm going to try, again, I'll be making more videos. I'll probably try not to blabber on as much, but I'm going to put the, I'm going to try all the different graphics cards in. So if you see one of the graphics cards, I know, like I've got my list here, the R5-230s, if they make much of a difference at all, you're probably going to pay about 20 quid for them, $20 or whatever, $15, $20. R5-430, same, similar sort of price, $25, $30, 30 quid. It's the GT730 is very similar price, and then your T400 and T600 is going to be a bit more. I think I paid £150 for the T600, but that I will probably put that in with like an i5-3040, an Optiplex 3040, or I know I've got an i7 one in there that will run pretty much most of PlayStation 2 and GameCube and all that. I'm pretty much a lot of them on 1920 by 1080, so that'll be a future video. But this is PlayStation 2 running without a graphics card in, but you put anything like God of War 2 or something on. I've got a save for God of War 2, so we'll just. This is my 4TB build as well while I'm here, so it's I've been through, and it's a really, really good PlayStation 2 collection. You know, I took a lot of the attack out of it, and it's pretty much all the better games. Really good collection. Alright. Alright, so I thought that was the same game. Anyway. Last game. God of War 2. This is going to run amazing. I can sense it. Surprised it even runs that one. Without a graphics card. It's one of the more demanding ones. But anyway, we'll have a look at the. On a future videos, I'll use the same computer and I'll stick the graphics card up, and I'll sort of try and get it so if you can get this running at 60 frames per second on the lowest resolution, we know what sort of card we're going to be looking at. If people want to just run PlayStation 2 and are happy enough running it on the lower resolution. But anyway, with that, I'm going to wrap that video up. Until next time, ta-da.